tell you've got a lot on your mind at the minute.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway. Welcome to
His house collapsed earlier this week.
Well, not the house, just the ceiling. Anyway.
Just a major part.
Yes, yeah. This is me trying to, forget it and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're recording tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. So you go back to back.
Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to the Off the Stage podcast with your host James Berry and Conor Michael. And today we bring you the guests, Even the Tides.
Thanks
for having us.
I love you.
I've got Even the Tides. Is that your name, or are you just Even the Tides?
It's Even the Tides.
Just Even the Tides?
Yeah,
I thought it was, but you questioned me last week.
Because you've even got your t-shirt, Even the Tides.
Yeah,
so it's like
some stylistic thing.
Yeah, cause I figured it would have been weird, just going, "Hi, we're Even the Tides."
I think it's better if you do Even the Tides.
Yeah, okay.
We've actually just been played on this radio station that said that today.
Yeah, as in even the wait, no, not like that. but basically emphasising the dot at every sentence.
You had a question about the name, though?
I did, yeah. So is it like Even the Tides as in let's straighten out the tides, flatten it, or is it Even the Tides as in including the tides?
It can be both. It could be open interpretation. It could be as well as inclusive, as well as the tides, as well as an evening of the tides, like a calmer waters or something like that.
I like the inclusivity aspect, because if you even out the tides, then it no longer becomes a tide.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So
I was about to say we picked that.
Become water.
Yeah, because we picked that because it was kind of like a double meaning, and we just kind of thought, that's definitely our name of the band.
Also, Even Tides was taken.
Yeah.
Oh, so you could just put even with it,
yeah.
Unless you're from Yorkshire, Even Tides. Well, that's my dad joke there. So.
Yes.
Anyway.
So most important question, which not a lot you can answer, but what are you drinking?
I'm drinking cider, Aspel.
I'm drinking good old thin air, just the atmosphere,
I don't drink.
No water or...
It's quite a boring brand, actually. I'm the only one that really drinks anything.
Yeah.
Kind of sad for me.
They're saying that Corbin drinks as well.
Yeah, a little bit. Occasionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, an intervention for you yet, or?
Several.
We've got Mr. This is a rare that we actually both don't know what it is.
Yeah, this is one that producer Cat got for us.
Mm-hmm.
What does it taste like now? We tried this.
Mine's less bug.
Mine's got a buggy. It's definitely a cider. Is that correct? Yes, it's a cider. It tastes
quite soft and fruity.
Cidery.
Does it taste very buggy at all?
I do.
Anybody like to guess what it is?
It's like an apple.
From the look, it looks like Old Rosie, but I guess it's probably not. I'm worried.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
You're the first guest that I've turned down a free drink. Everybody else is like, yeah, cool.
Well, it's kind of hard when you don't drink, so it's
I don't know what it is. It's obviously like a cider. What kind of cider is it?
It's a mango-infused cider.
A mango-infused cider?
Oh, nice.
Very tropical.
Cider.
I was going peach vibes there, but...
I thought, mango, peach, it's a similar kind of thing.
Fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's included in J2O anyway. So.
Yes, that's very true.
Basically J2O. So obviously it's a 4-piece band, but only 3 of you wanted to be on the podcast.
Although, saying that, in absence of our member, we're just going to put a little photo of him right here. Is it viewable on camera?
It is if we zoom in.
Yep.
Hit the zoom in cap.
Right, so he is there within spirit. I'm not too sure when the screen's going to lock out, but he is there within spirit.
Oh, well,
and
this is not great for the audio listeners, but check out the YouTube channel.
Well, to be honest, we did a similar thing when we did Elizabethtown, where we did a little photo shoot and music video kind of thing, and the drummer couldn't make it.
Classic drummer.
Yeah, I know, it's the same thing, but we did the same thing. So we've got a little EP in the metal in HMV, and on the main picture, if you just look really closely, there's just a photo on a phone of John, the windowsill.
Yeah, I didn't know that until you put that in the chat earlier.
Yeah, well, you know, your little Easter eggs.
But going back in the music, obviously we're just going to try and find out who you guys are, what you do in the band, and not just like instruments wise. Does anybody do the specific marketing, the social media? Take it away.
I write and play guitar and sing. I always make the ideas and then bring it to the guys and then we make it.
Cool.
So it's like I
You
write
bring the raw.
Yeah. So I do the initial stuff for the bones and then they help fill it out.
Yeah, add on the muscles and the organs and stuff.
I wouldn't. That's a bit weird. But yeah.
I mean, you said the skeleton, so.
Basically, like Liam just comes in with it, and everyone seems to be happy that way with how it works, and we just sort of put our styles on it.
Yeah.
So it's not contrived in that way. There's no like, oh, this would be good. We just sort of, we've all got different styles, and we just put it on top, and it seems to sort of click.
What do you play in?
I play lead guitar, and
I play the bass guitar, and I think everyone in the band kind of like, as both of these two mentioned, bring like stuff into the table, but it's very like kind of like specific to like our own sorts of styles. Like personally, I like to think as a bass player, I bring like that kind of like punk, post-punk.
Yeah,
kind of
I can see just from
like,
looking at you, I'm like,
what, punk? No, sorry, this is something else.
He's also the best talker on stage. He's definitely got the best crack on stage.
And covers every inch of every venue we play with his wireless system.
Oh yeah, just
very active bass player. Basses aren't meant to do that.
I know, it's concerning.
Oh yes,
it's usually just plug in and play with like 10-year-old strings. That's fine.
That's just meant to like stand and just like
act moody.
Yeah.
Oh yes, do the what I like to call the John Entwistle, which is just to stand and look at the other members on stage and go, I'm with these lot.
Yeah.
You know.
I've had a bass player that used to just play and you'd know he was alive because his fingers were moving and he'd occasionally blink. Okay. So it's like a refreshing change.
Which is very rare.
Yeah. We normally go to what genre describes you, but that's not been going down well recently.
Well, I'd say who individually, what would you say your like main influences are? What go on the table?
I like a lot of rock and hard rock and like heavier stuff. I really like the like indie stuff, and I've always had that struggle writing. Well, I wanted to write like Dave Grohl, like a heavier stuff, but I couldn't. And my stuff was always soft and like Indian. For a long time I didn't like that, but then just sort of went with it. But now we played our first gig, and obviously it was the first gig, so people are going to hear you for the first time. And I thought people are going to go back and say you're really indie, but they were saying like alternative rock, alternative. Like just in general, isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
Like the blank definition of like alternative rock sort of thing.
It's just alternative if it has to be put into something like because it's this. I'd say there's elements of like blues and funk and rock and grunge and post-punk and a few.
And the thing is about it is that not all the songs kind of like sound alike. Like some songs would kind of sound like a little bit similar to like, I don't know, like the Stone Roses in REM at points, but in another song could have only the Stone Roses influence and like, I don't know, like the Foo Fighters or Royal Blood sort of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's weirdly eclectic, but like, I don't know.
So the reason we ask these questions is it's trying, because usually you go, what genre are you? And it's like, it's impossible to say this day and age. So the best thing to kind of get an idea of what you sound like is kind of what music you like grew up listening to kind of thing, and what's from that what's kind of gotten you into playing music.
For me, it would be the Chili Peppers. I'd say that's my biggest influence on guitar, probably.
John Frusciante.
He's like me, like
especially
reference point for backing vocals, sometimes soloing and little phrasing and mixing things.
But just following on the influences, what was your first band you ever saw live individually?
Oh wow! How I remember that. I'm letting these guys speak.
I think it probably was Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, technically it was the bands on before, but I seen the Biffy Clyro and Foo Fighters at the Milton Keynes. I mean,
Good lineup though.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl's why I play music, because I was a drummer before I did songwriting and singing. It's all because of Foo Fighters, all because of Dave Grohl. Yeah, so definitely Foo Fighters for me.
And for me, pretty much the first gig I ever went to was like a Slipknot gig. You know? And back in like 2016 when they were doing the Grey Chapter period of their career, and I remember, what was it, being like, I think it was like 15 at the time, going into like being seated down. Unfortunately, I wasn't standing, but if I was, I would have been crushed by
I feel like 15's a bit young for Slipknot.
I
absolutely loved.
I went to see Slipknot. I saw them a few years ago.
Yeah, and I just remember just like having like an atmospheric opening, and then the curtains dropped down, and it was so exciting to me, and I feel like that's kind of what music should be.
Yeah,
it's just like really exciting.
My dad put me off Slipknot when he said that he went to one with his mate and there was a goat flying about the crowd. So I've been put off that.
Sounds like a Slipknot gig.
Or a regular black metal gig. But,
yeah.
I think mine was Chili Peppers. I was 15, 2002, something like that. I'm the oldest in the band by you.
I was going to say, I'm thinking 16 in 2016.
Our drummer's just turned 20.
Oh, right. So you've got quite a...
I'm the oldest, I'm 36.
Yeah.
I am 24.
I don't reveal my age.
39 this episode goes out.
You should never ask the singer his age.
What was your first band again?
Foo Fighters.
Oh, you might be in the same gig.
No, I went 2000... God, I was in year 9. 2000 and... I'd like to say it was when All My Life came out.
One by one.
And like the curtain, it was cool. I enjoyed it very much.
Good. That's what's important.
Yeah.
Mine was Avril Lavigne. I'm really proud of that.
Don't blame you.
Hey, she's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I think she made me skate.
Yeah. It was just when the second album came out. Because I'd never seen a live gig before, and I remember finishing the entire show and being like, oh, I was looking forward to Skater Boy. And then it came back on, and Skater Boy was playing, I was like,
Imagine if she played a gig and didn't play Skater Boy. It's just like the outrage.
I think that'll just be committing treason.
Yeah.
No, it's fantastic.
You think she's going to come out doing Skater Boy, and she goes, hey, you. I don't know.
No, she got me.
Did she ever come out on a skateboard though?
I can't remember, I don't think so. It would have been cool though. I think like the stage was set up kind of like a skate park kind of thing.
And she did. It's like a skate park and stuff. And she didn't play skate.
So final question. We'll do this, and we'll move on to a break in part 2. This is the up and personal section, and it's basically just asking what the most personal song that you've written is. It doesn't have to be released, or it could be one that's released, but what it is and what it's about.
I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, a lot of the lyrics of my songs are quite sad. Not always. It's not always meant to be that way. Sometimes when you're in a depressive state of mind, it's the best way to write or get your words out. I would say out of the current set we've got now, I think our first release was probably the most impactful for me, because it was when me and my partner were like going through a bit of a rough patch, and that song's about that. I think that's all I can say.
Yeah.
A lot of them are pretty like heavy. I mean, my mum and my dad don't like listen to the songs because they take away bits of the songs about them, because they are about them. You know, they just.
Which song is that one? About what's it called, sir?
Doing the Best I Can.
Is that currently available, or is that?
Yeah, it's on Spotify. It's on all the platforms. It was our first single. But yeah, we're literally. I was writing that when we were going through a bad time, and then I felt bad for the first time she actually heard it, because obviously we're back together and be really good, and then she heard the song. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
really awkward about it.
I always think that when that Lily Allen song, the first time a boyfriend took, it's okay, but I think you really mean. It's not fair, whatever.
That song's been called. This next song by Lily Allen, it's okay.
It's not fair.
It's alright.
I remember when that song came out on the radio, and I was just kind of like, really young at that time, and I was like, oh, that was the thing. That, as well as like the other single, The Fear,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I played both of them songs.
I just always imagine just the first time the boyfriend listens to it, was like, and he treats me with respect. I'm like, that's nice. There's just one thing that's getting in the way. What? When we go out to bed. What?
This is taking a really dark turn. I don't like it.
You couldn't attack it at the worst place.
Yeah. And then just the announcement kind of, Lily Allen kind of, I wrote this song, but I thought you should
Before you see Radio 1 play it, just tell you now.
Just listen to Radio 1, but I'm just going to warn you.
Don't tell your friends.
Just listen to the first 20 seconds and then just...
Oh, Mint, we'll take a short break. We'll come back with part 2.
We certainly will.
And we'll see you there. That's it. Turn that off now.
Leave it at the edge.
Oh yes, as suspected, it kind of just went off. It's just turned off.
Go. Sync.
Yes, that's what your ceiling's doing. Hey!
I was gonna do like a "You're Back, Baby," but like, for those who don't know, my ceiling's a bit knackered. It decided it didn't want to be a ceiling anymore.
It wanted to be a floor.
It wanted to be a floor, a very wet floor. It should hopefully be sorted by the time this podcast is out. Anyway.
What the baby?
Yeah.
Podcast is normally out on Tuesdays, but James has a little random Monday throughout now and then.
Oh yeah, I accidentally released the podcast like today, as in like last Monday. You're supposed to schedule it, you upload it to Spotify and click schedule, but I accidentally clicked.
Just upload it straight.
Yeah. But never mind,
Hey,
the one listener on Spotify gets
Big shout out, Rich.
hey, at least it gets out there pretty quick.
Exactly.
Just do that premium like Spotify first and then YouTube after.
Yeah, exactly.
See if we can increase the Spotify streams.
Damn right.
Welcome back to part 2, guys.
Hello.
Hold on. There we go. First stop.
It's funny, you were like, oh god, I hope you don't mind that we're a bit awkward. You came to the right place.
Yes.
You don't get this on radio interviews. So part 2, it's like Q&A's basically.
Alright.
And the first question comes from a random person on Reddit that James is going to read out to her after he picks the maggots out of his drink again.
It was an ant.
Alright.
Wait, was it a bug or an ant? Pick one.
Well, the first time it was a fly, but now it was an ant crawling on there.
Ooh.
So I just flicked it out of the way. I shouldn't have done radio. I felt a bit sorry for the ant. There we are.
Should have just drank it and said.
Should have just drank it and said more protein.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Become Ant-Man. I'm Ant-Man.
Wait, what? When did Ant-Man say?
Just wait for you, James. What's the question?
We're doing the Just Ask James, where I go on r/musicians on Reddit, and there's musicians have certain dilemmas, and we try our best to answer and give the best advice we possibly can. This one, I thought it was quite interesting. I haven't read it, but it just looks interesting by the title. Right. This is by user /IC Grotesque.
Nice.
I don't know what that means.
Very nice.
It sounds like a cool little like punky band, doesn't it? Anyway, I digress. This one says, feeling shackled by the album format. And he goes on. Or she goes on, who knows?
They go on.
Who knows? It's the great thing about Reddit. Anonymous. That's me Brent moment. Hello everyone. Hello everyone.
That's how delayed it is. See how long it make James read one thing.
I'm here to hear from your opinions on the subject. Are albums still relevant? Apart from the physical format, what is the relevancy of grouping 30 to 40 minutes of music at once, especially now in our era of shuffled playlists and social media, ultra shortcuts? I have many songs that I want to produce and release, but I feel I can't really put them all together in a huge album, and I don't really know how to carve out multiple projects out of it all. I kind of want to release them all one by one or a few at a time like a mini EP, but I would end up with no real album that I can sell and brag about. Just kidding. Also, some of these songs are more instrumental and cinematic, hence why I would like to release some of them as a narrative bunch, more like a concept EP rather than a side on an LP. Enough talking for me now. What are your thoughts? Thanks for reading all this. ... I think he's done the opposite, because usually he's thinking like, oh, I need to make an album. But I think the question is kind of, are albums still relevant in this day and age?
I don't think so personally.
That's
not as much, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's a hugely interesting question, because I think in one instance you could legitimately say that it's a dying form of musical art that has been going on for the past couple of decades. But there have been like recent albums that have made it onto the pop charts that have done like successfully well. Like for instance, like Taylor Swift or Kendrick Lamar's like To Pimp a Butterfly, for instance. And I suppose if an album's conceptual, I think there is an appeal to it, but in terms of an album being like, here's a list of a few songs, I don't think it's as appealing. I
think you're right, because I think it has to be kind of like the album itself has to make sense with like depending on the art, so like the positioning. You can't just be like, here's a load of songs, let's shove them on like a thing and like send it off, because there's no point in doing that now. If you've recorded individual singles, you might as well just bring one single out at a time, and then you've got like a good. Say if you've got 12 songs, bring out a single each month. You've got like a month worth of singles.
I think unless you already made it and you're famous, an album makes sense. But if we've only had one single out so far because we're new, and it would be so impractical to do an album. Like no one's going to listen to your album if they haven't listened to you, or come to watch you and listen to your first songs. I think it's a really hard one to gauge, because they might come back, albums might come back, or they definitely had a massive decrease in numbers. It's a shame, because I used to love buying CDs and buying LPs and stuff, but
I still do personally.
I know.
I buy a big, thick plastic disc called vinyl records, but. I was about to say, but the thing is, for like the regular, the person that regularly delves into music, I don't think it's like that much of a dying art form, because there are dedicated music listeners that would actually sit through an album sort of thing, particularly if it's like has like a somewhat of appeal. But
don't they say the generational thing where people haven't got the attention span?
Correct.
So they say like, 3.5 minutes is the perfect length of a song, because people won't listen or pay attention after that time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all dependent on the individual personally. But
I mean, I've still got the patience to sit and listen to a good album.
Yeah.
If it's like not full of filler. How many albums you got? 4 or 5 tracks are good, and then the rest is filler.
Yeah, because you used to have that, because you had to do an album.
Yeah.
But now you don't have to do an album. You probably find there's a better quality album out there, because you have to.
What Liam was saying, as a new band, for us to just put one single out and then put another one out every couple of months seems to make sense. If we've got a big audience in the future, then maybe we'll do an EP or an album.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I think it's like
the cost of things as well.
Taylor Swift releases a single, she's got billions of fans that want the next single. If you release an album, they've got the 12, and it'll sell. If an unsigned artist releases an album, you get 3 people who are like, that was really good, and it becomes pointless. Whereas unsigned, if you do it every few months or whatnot, there's that new rotation.
I mean, that's the promotional aspect. But to me, if you're an artist and you want to make an album, make an album.
Oh, tough.
I mean, that's definitely. But
everyone in the band.
Make sure you dig deep in your pockets.
Yeah,
not cheap.
I think that's what it is. I think it's like, kudos to you, and I'm jealous, and I wish I could do, because I think it's amazing. You should do it, but God, who's got the money?
Yeah.
That's
like it. We record like one song, and it's getting like on £600. It's expensive.
You know that more than anyone.
I think if anyone's got like enough good songs in a band, they'd probably all like the idea of having a really good album that they're proud of, but it's just not practical. I don't think for a lot of people listening who want to make.
Yeah, well, that's it. It depends what the album's for. So, for example, I'm in the middle of I'll be recording it soon. I just got to write 2 more songs, but I would rather have had this 10-track album become 2 5-track EPs and then release a single EP, etc. But there's a project that I'm trying to put myself forwards for, which you need an album ready to be pressed and stuff. So I'm working towards that. Whereas I'd much rather have been like, instead of wasting money on an album that's not going to do well because I'm unsigned, I could just do a bunch of singles.
Yeah. Or if you're putting EPs out every year, like a 5-6 track EP, so you're putting an album's worth of material out every couple of years anyway. Yeah. And it's maybe easy to keep the quality better doing it that way as well.
Absolutely.
Or you could do what the Mountain Goats did and just record directly into a cassette player and then just release it like that. You ever listen to
quite smart Mountain Goats?
Yeah, the Mountain Goats, like all.
Was that a band?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I
thought it was like a saying or something.
No, the Mountain Goats. It's a band basically. Like, I mean, he's got a lot of like well-produced albums now, but when he first started out, he basically just. I'm sure he did it in a cupboard in his work. You can actually hear like the air conditioner. And he's just a cassette player. He's just like really quietly like singing the song, and he just released it, and then people obviously really like the songs. It's the worst quality album you'll ever hear in your life, but the songs that put mint on it. It's the same what Frankie did. Well, similar anyway, from Frankie and the Heartstrings.
Your favourite episode, that one?
Yeah, well, because he basically, you know Frankie and the Heartstrings. Well, their first EP was basically they were in a practice room and they just put a recorder in the middle of the floor and they just sung, and he gave that demo to a guy from Radio 6 and he played the entirety on Radio 6.
Oh wow.
And then declared they were like the current best band in the UK.
Jeez.
Like
that's amazing.
But that's like he admits that's just complete luck. It was just complete luck. Like you can't really get away with that these days, I don't think, but it's nice to know.
Not so easily anyways, you know.
But I think there's always someone somewhere. You know, you might. It's always that thing where you're starting out and you're playing the worst gigs and the dive bars and there's no one there, but you might eventually play somewhere. That's some guy in the back of the corner in the room might be like someone who knows someone.
Yeah.
I like to think that anyway. I like to think that no matter where you go, there's always someone that might know someone.
Well, yeah. I mean, Sam Fender.
Well, yeah.
Was the manager from Catfish at the Bottom or something, or was it the Little Comets? It was someone like that anyway. He was in the Low Lights Tavern where we worked, and he just the manager from Low Lights Tavern said, I think this is the story anyway, I might be corrected on it, that's the guy who manages little get your guitar and sing one of these songs, and he liked it and he's like, oh, we'll get you.
He started doing covers to begin with, and the talent scout came over and was like, nah, just like do your own stuff. He plays his own stuff and got signed.
Yeah. So sometimes it is just that kind of
right place, right time.
But that is like.
But being prepared in the same token, so like you don't let these things pass you by if they do come along.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Because like he might not have had that song or worked hard, and then he would have done nothing.
That's it.
Maybe.
Well, if that didn't happen, then he'd probably be on this podcast.
What are you trying to say about the people I do?
You're trying to say no one has headline St James's Park. Comfortably say that.
We played Concert Festival the other week, so that was a football stadium.
That's
the closest we'll ever.
Do you have any
so far
take the field or anything?
No.
Okay.
What?
Did you see that?
What's it? Oh, the Gateshead.
Yeah, I did see I.
Yeah, it was a football game over at Gateshead, and a couple was it two? It was a car and
it was a car, a car and a hearse, and the guy came out and apparently he had a
gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that eventful, no.
Still 0-0. So when we got you guys to come on, we put an Instagram poll up, and we had one question come through from @Mrs. Berry Insta.
Producer cat.
Do you have a stage alter ego, and do they have a name?
No.
just yourselves.
I mean,
I wish I did. I wish I had something else to be that. No.
I mean, for me, I guess I do kind of like, take what I am in terms of personality wise and tend to emphasize it tenfold,
really?
While taking like a few bits of what comes before, of the likes of Iggy Pop and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think what he's trying to say, he gets hyper.
Yeah.
He gets hyper and he goes for it.
Yeah. I mean, you either play it at 0% or 100.
Yeah.
And you got to play it at 100.
He's the best. Like, I've been in loads of bands. He's got the best stage presence I've been in a band with. because he just enjoys it. You know,
Yeah,
it's so like enjoyable to see someone enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And on stage, it's great.
Would you consider yourself like an introvert usually?
Socially, I think. I don't know. I'm considered like socially awkward, but not like.
I think all musicians are.
Because I find like a lot of like some of the most like introverted people, you get them on the stage, and they're just because Michael Jackson was one of them. Not that I like to bring up Michael Jackson all the time, but
I'm a bit more of a Prince fan personally.
yeah, but Prince was always like cocky and stuff, but Michael Jackson apparently was really kind of like a hidden shell within himself. But until he got on the stage, then he was like wee-hee, and all that, you know.
Wee-hee.
Wee-hee, yeah.
Wee-hee and all of
I don't know what the fuck Michael Jackson does, but yeah, now I find out with a lot
I don't
of,
think we want to know.
Nothing much anymore.
It's like it might sound pretentious, but like if you feel more comfortable like expressing yourself doing some art or on stage than even in normal conversation with people.
Yeah,
absolutely right. So last week we had, did we have one? We had
The Void.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
They left us 3 questions to ask you guys.
Right.
Question 1 is, after 3, everyone say your favourite band member's name. So 1, 2, 3.
Cool.
Anthem.
What do you say?
Anthem.
What do you say?
Well, I said Anthem, but I'm not.
What did you say?
I said myself because I couldn't pick.
You
one.
can't say Oh, shocking that.
That's that ego, innit?
Gotta love yourself. I
That's
love
it.
them all equally.
Just not as much as.
I mean, I write the songs. I write the songs, sing the songs. You gotta.
Yeah, we'll go Liam.
No, because
Liam.
Here's a good one actually. What do you really think about the drummer? Chest, if he's actually listened to the show.
Best drummer I've ever heard for his
He
age.
won't listen to it.
So you can slag him off now.
He won't even know where to find it.
He'll message us. He'll get it eventually. But no, he's
3 years later. Hey guys, what the fuck's this?
he's 20-year-old and he plays with like loads of like swing and syncopation. He's brilliant drummer.
Yeah,
like
he
for
is.
his age.
He is a definition.
I think he's a bit of a dick, to be honest.
Oh, I fully agree. No, I think he's like a proper good, like rock solid drummer, and he's a legitimate key along with Liam in terms of like getting the basis down for a song.
Yeah.
Because without either of those two, me and Amp would just be playing to a void. You know?
If he wasn't so good looking, he would be in the band.
Oh yes, he's 100% sexy.
I wouldn't go that far. He's 20 years old now.
Yeah.
Well,
Usually get the opposite with the drummers. That's why they're at the back.
Turn the lights off.
That's a shame.
we have him at the front.
Yeah, front of the stage. One of them cages. With the
Cage.
The next one we got is for you to give us a walkthrough of how you'd make a cup of tea.
Tea bag in, water, milk. That's it.
Yeah.
So I was that way forever, and all those people were like, "Oh, the milk first is like the enemy. Don't do that." But what I found out is, as long as you just don't touch it, don't squeeze the bag, you let it brew for 2 minutes, it doesn't really matter.
What?
You can go milk, water, tea bag, as long as you just leave it for 2 minutes. You don't touch it, you don't squeeze the bag, it makes it go bitter. You just leave it alone for 2 minutes, it'll be fine.
I like to pour it and like aim for the bag, so like the water like trickles, like so you get more of the diffusion of the tea quicker. Not that I make cups of tea that often, but when I do make cups of tea,
But I've heard all sorts of theories. For people, well, I'm going in depth with this one, but I love me tea. But people saying like, oh, if you leave the milk in with the tea bag first, it infuses in with the milk. So there's all sorts of theories, I think.
Yeah.
so maybe I don't know.
It's a complex issue.
So for me, in order to make the perfect cup of tea, you head
boil
to
the kettle, because like these two haven't yet.
So
Just want to put that in
I thought
there.
it wasn't nice.
So
Paul.
Do you not like cold tea?
So you boil the kettle first of all, and you head towards the coffee.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't.
drinking.
I don't drink tea.
How do you make coffee? What do you do?
Well, I tend to get like the, I think it's like grinder sort of stuff, and you put it into like the coffee blender, and you put the water in, boiled of course, not cold.
There you go. Unlike these two.
And then you kind of just leave it for about like a minute at a minimum, and then just kind of press it down, and then pour it out. and enjoy it.
Proper connoisseur, that.
Sounds too much effort.
Get a teaspoon, just granules.
Do you measure out the granules as well?
No, I just take like a tablespoon and go.
73 granules each.
Yeah. Depending on how tired you are. Just,
Yes, I put the whole bag in.
A little bit of whiskey.
chew it.
And final question is: do you wear socks for bed? And if not, why?
No. Gross.
I never even think about it, to tell you the truth.
God,
Feet-
because
feet
we were
are-
on the
feet
same
are
wavelength.
Yeah, we
And
were.
we really questioned why they were wearing socks for bed. No.
Yeah. Do you wear socks?
I suppose-
Why would you wear socks?
The best part of the day is when you get in the bed and take your socks off.
Yeah,
it's
Socks
unreal.
off, yeah.
Absolutely right.
To be fair, on a hot night, taking them off is just like, you know.
Plus,
parts
I
of it.
really like playing like footsies, so
Yeah.
it's much better without the socks on.
Well, yeah.
I'm doing it now.
Raw dogging it.
Oh, yeah.
And just before we go to a break, we just need 3 questions for next week's guest, which is Patrick Gosling.
Patrick Gosling.
Come on, change
yeah.
with this.
Good eye. I think we're not doing. We're not there
We're here
next week.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we're here tomorrow. Yeah.
To the listeners, they'll get it next week.
Okay.
There you go.
Would you like to do a gig with Even the Tides? So drop us a message on Insta or even the tides at even.the.tides@gmail.com.
Surely that's not allowed.
It is now.
All questions are allowed.
Yeah.
Alright.
If you no, you did the next one.
What?
You did the next one.
The next one.
Question.
How you all doing?
How are you all doing?
Cool.
Yes.
Final question.
If you were stranded in the middle of the ocean, what would you take with you? Oh no. Yeah.
How many things do they get, bring?
2.
What? 2 things.
Yeah.
Should bring. Yeah. We're assuming that that there's like a dinghy or some sort of flotation
No.
device. Oh, so
You're just in the middle of the ocean and you've got to
Treading water.
okay. Yes. Okay. That's.
So,
I'm glad that was clarified because I'd be questioning that.
I'm going with that one.
Yeah.
If you were stranded in the middle of the ocean, treading water, what 2 things would you want to have run with you?
Okay, that's good.
Flare and a mobile phone, I would think.
Why is a boat not on your list? I'm sure they'll find me soon.
I know they have treading water on the boat.
Hello, I'm stranded. Where are you? I don't know.
Oh, I can't get any signal yet.
Oh, my phone's waterlogged, so my flare's gone out.
It's like I'm swimming home.
Hang on, let me. Oh crap! I dropped it in the water.
Oh, right. We'll see you in part 3.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I would have said a cigarette and a lighter. Because you're fucked either way.
Yeah.
I would have said a working game controller, but you know what?
Nice. Is we all ready?
No, I don't think so.
We're back, baby!
Did we do that in the second part, or did we just go talking about your ceiling through it?
No, we just start talking about the ceiling and then it's the ceiling. You're breaking my heart. You're shaking my confidence daily. Oh, Cecilia. I'm not gonna stop. Right.
Welcome back to part 3, guys. We're still joined here by Even the Tides. I was going to go even by Tides for some reason.
Yes, even by the tides.
So yeah, as we were saying, obviously this episode's meant to come out on the 1st of August, pending on James's ability to press schedule. So just want to know if you've got any songs or shows that the viewers need to be aware of.
Well, we do have. It'll be released by the time that this comes out, but we do have our very new single, "New Shadows," which is up on all streaming platforms available
Cool.
to you. That will be available by the time it comes out.
As well as the first single, Doing the Best I Can, which came out a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
You can check that one out as well.
Stream them all.
And we've got 2 gigs coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 gigs in August and then a 3rd in September, early September, isn't it? It's,
What gigs have you got?
Playing. We've got a gig that's yet to be confirmed yet, but it's supposed to be on the 11th of August.
Okay.
Fed, so waiting on details on that. But we've got Tuesday the 29th at the Clooney 2 with a band called Time Wasters.
Yeah.
And then Sunday the 3rd of September we're playing Little Buildings.
Nice.
Got a friend, a solo artist, Lormy, who was opening.
Are these all headline gigs?
the one of the Clooney's we're supporting.
Cool.
Yeah.
We're headlining Little Buildings.
Yeah.
We're supported by a band called the Monday Club and solo artist called Lomi.
I don't think I recognise their name, but Monday Club rings a bell.
No, not for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I need
I do a lot of gig guides. Names just pop up in my face now.
I was gonna say that I've been to like one of the gigs and they're pretty good.
Yeah. Are they similar kind of sound to you guys, or do you just put like a variety of genres?
Yeah, I think they take their style a lot from like kind of like Britpop and like early 2000s rock sort of thing.
I think we're still trying to find our like niche or group of bands to play with.
It's hard.
We found it really hard. Our first gig was in February. I've not been very well. I wasn't very well back then. So we've only done like 8 gigs so far.
Yeah.
Obviously, we released a song, released a second song by the time this comes out. We just haven't really been able to get loads of things going. Every time we played, we've had great feedback, and we've been on the radio. We seem like we're going in the right direction, just not getting the gigs that we want.
It's like people who show the stuff either live or show the songs to in person. They seem to like it. Like the Spotify, I think the first song's getting an average of like 5.1 streams per person. It's getting at like 50 playlists, and people are liking it. But it's just scaling it up.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean. It's like we've to try and get as many followers as possible, get as many gigs as possible. So this year's just been a lot of networking and just trying to find other bands to play with, venues that will take us that we can go back to later.
It's just the gigs for me. I just want to play more gigs. That's all I care about.
Are you like a relatively new band? I mean, this is the which I've really asked at the first.
November of last year.
Oh, so this year will be then. It'll just be kind of just finding your feet and finding your sound, and
I think it's just because we're the guy's not either 20-year-old. He's fine. He's got time.
Yeah.
I'm 27. I'm getting older. I'm just getting older. We need this to happen now.
I guess reference C6 Steve.
True.
I love and one of my favourite artists. I don't really mention him. I should mention him more. Alex Harvey, the sensational Alex Harvey band. He started a band. He decided to start a band at the age of 37.
Wow, okay.
And he just went. But that said, he went too intense, and the stuff you should be doing in your early 20s, he was doing in his like 40s. He ended up having a heart attack and dying.
Right.
So so maybe So
there's something about
I don't fancy that, but.
Something about how we've got together, it feels right, we've got a good click for each other, chemistry each other. I went to Gateshead College and I met Alex and Corbin, our drummer, both there. Yeah. And it all seemed, and Liam was looking for a band, it all seemed to come together at the right time.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it's hard for just the four of us trying to do everything.
Yeah. It's the thing, there's, to be honest, I think these days there's a lot less emphasis on age. I think in the 30, 40 years ago, if you weren't if you haven't made it by the age of 25, then you're done. But it's just different this day and age.
I still have that mentality myself.
It's
29 in a couple of days, and I feel I'm too old for it.
Well, I'm 35. I started the band last year, so it's
I felt like that, and I stopped doing it for years. But I just don't think like that anymore. Just
I think
as
it's
long
a really
as you're doing it, you're doing it.
Yeah, that's it.
Mindset to get through in it.
Yeah.
Strangely enough, that's one of the big blockers for a lot of people.
Except that you can't turn back the clock. You just get on with it.
Yeah. It's just
you can't. There's nothing you can do about it.
You can't exactly start singing songs about kind of going out and partying all night and stuff. You mature with your age, and your songs kind of reflect that.
Yeah.
And then you
cheese boards by 9 o'clock kind of thing.
because the people our generation ages with us, so we'll be singing songs that are relevant to them. So you'll always have an audience. That's my 2 cents anyway. Never too old, never too young. Well, maybe you're too young, but never too old.
A wholesome.
I mean, how old's too old though?
I don't know, because
it's a really good question.
Tony Bennett passed away the other day. 96. He'd played all his life until the day he died.
Yeah. So
if he's having a nap at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I think he's too old.
That's true.
As long as you're able to perform the gig.
True. Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, you can keep your standard up. I think that's the only the thing in it.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you just look at the Rolling Stones, they're a bunch of old fogies, but you look at flipping Mick Jagger, he's still doing his little. They haven't changed a bit.
No,
I think they got a bit more wrinkles and stuff like that, but it's.
And Keith Richards, they're just looking more like a skeleton by each day. But,
it's just that guy.
Yeah. But even saying that, like, not in terms of music related thing, like, what was it? Morgan Freeman was like 50 when he had like his big major.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
I think it was around about that age when he had his big major like breakthrough as an actor. So in my view, if like he can make it as well as like people like maybe Ian Dury and the Blockheads. You know,
that's another one.
Yeah, that's another one where he started out in his late 20s and progressed further through his 30s, you know, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If they can do it, then, you know, there's no concept of age, I don't think.
As I say, it's just like...
It's all a visual look.
Again, especially this day and age, it's like there's not just... Because you think about... Back in the day, there was pretty much just young'uns who used to go to gigs. That's why it was only the young'uns who kind of made it, but now all ages go to gigs. So I say you'll always have that audience who you represent, or they feel something there. It's like there's an attachment, a generational attachment.
I just want to make it before I go bald.
Yeah,
because I'm running really low on
that.
That's
why I'm growing my hair now. Like it's
once
no haircuts. Yeah. So with the song that you've got coming out, do you guys do like music videos at all? Does that come out with YouTube as well, or do you not bother?
We're really new to this, you know.
I've got ideas and videos for all our songs, or a few of them anyway. Just I think it's money. We need someone who can do it for us.
Yeah, I think it's just mainly trying to find someone who is a video director.
I'll tell you the details after it's done.
Absolutely, he does all my music videos.
Right, please help. We need to take it off.
I had an idea of like having a choreographed fight for one of the songs because I do karate.
Hang on.
It's basically lay out all the band and
surely it's my lyrics, my song. It should be what I want, not what you have a fight.
It would be cool. People would like to see that.
Yeah.
If me and you can fight,
we can. We will.
Right, so I'm just stepping back from what
you're the referee. So with this new song that's coming out, obviously you mentioned it's quite a lot of money to record a single. Where did you record the song, and what was your recording process about doing that?
I think when I said £600 before, it's for 2 songs we do.
Yeah.
We do like 2 days, 2 songs. It's in Hot Studio. No, sorry, it's Fourth Audio with Lee Johnson. He's amazing. He's a really good guy. We sound live, but he knows what he's doing. And we've done 4 songs with him now, and they're sick. They're really good.
Yeah,
we're really happy with it.
Good. Mm-hmm. How do you record it? Do you go in all together? Or do you send like the drummer in?
Track recorder.
We just kind of like have a step-by-step process of like doing the percussions first / drums, then the bass comes in afterwards, guitar, vocals, and anything else afterwards, sort of thing. Yeah.
That's cool.
You do get your more like precision recording by doing that. I'm way too lazy. I'm just like, let's just do everything at once. I
do sometimes prefer that though, because you get the live feel.
You get more energy, but like the actual sound quality is greatly diminished. You can't tell the difference.
Managed to capture on the songs, like keep them quite live sounding, and the performances are good on everything. But it was just the easiest way for us to do it with the time we had, I think.
Yeah. That's something you've got to consider, isn't it, really? Especially how expensive studios are. You've got to be like, okay, what's the best way, what's the quickest way of getting through this, and kind of you get the track sorted, then you can kind of like build on that, can't you? It's
like first song I was wanting to like nail the performance from beginning to end, but the second or third song was just like, look, as long as we do that bit, then we do this bit, as long as it we get across what we want it to sound like, it doesn't really matter.
That's it,
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Just final couple of questions. We've started asking all our guests to give us a local artist shout out that our viewers and audios should be. Hi to the camera. Different second camera set up there. And our viewers and audio listeners can go check out. Have you got anybody you think these guys are mint, or this person's fantastic?
I would say Paper Boats.
You supported me with the thing?
A few of us are friends with the lads in the band, and they're very supportive of us, and they're really good.
A shout out for Not Now Norman rock band.
Yeah.
Played with them a couple of times, and they're really good guys. And
and I like to personally shout out the Time Wasters, because I'm friends with a couple of the band members, and they're just, for what they do, they have just like a really good sound, and I vibe with it. You know,
that's
quite heavily. That and Nervous Twitch that we played at the Black Bull.
Good punk band.
Yeah.
What kind of music's a time wasters? Is that like punk as well?
They're like kind of like lo-fi indie sort of thing.
Oh,
kind of
right,
like
cool.
lot more chilled
Yeah.
back in like approach. I would describe it that way. And
Yeah.
the lyrics are like very personal, centric sort
Yeah.
of thing. It's kind of like I don't know, if you like your slow indie stuff with
Yeah.
like I suppose elements of like folk in terms of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Like, you'll probably like the Time Wasters.
Like
and,
Bon Iver kind of thing, or I'm off the mark.
yeah, kind of like Bon Iver,
Yeah.
but a lot more rougher in
Yeah.
production.
Ah, cool.
That's
Yeah.
kind of why I mentioned.
That sounds like my kind of thing, actually. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I'll have to check them
go
out.
listen to the what was it, Heartbreaker EP.
Yeah.
That's really good.
So we brushed over it on the first part, but what socials tags is it if people were to go find you guys now? Build that following.
Well, we got our Instagram and we got TikTok, we got Facebook.
Just even the tides, isn't it? I think.
Yeah,
Even
it's just
tides, wasn't it?
even the tides.
Or if you're from Yorkshire,
Yeah.
even tides.
All the streaming platforms from YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Spotify,
Are you,
Deezer.
Well, wait,
Yeah.
you say Deezer, but who's Deezer? I don't know.
Are you,
anyone.
I've only known
0.3% of my streams come from Deezer.
do you go by even the tides on Spotify as well? Is that? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do it?
I think so anyways.
Yeah.
No,
I was gonna say, can I just
don't?
really
no,
Wait,
just
do we?
even the tides.
Even
Yeah,
tides.
yeah,
There
yeah.
we go.
just even the tides over streaming platforms.
Although it is on your
I'm used to
artwork.
looking at the picture and seeing
Yeah,
all the
no,
logo.
you-
Who did your logo, by the way? Because it's a cool logo.
Andrew Parsons,
Andrew
artist,
Parsons.
and he's done the artwork for the upcoming single.
Okay.
And
It's
doing the
absolutely
Baslicani. He's basically our guy to do all the.
It's good to have a go-to guy, and it's
I think,
just
well, when we first started out, I think we had a few. Obviously, it was in November. It took us ages to find Alex to get in the band and then write songs and all that sort of stuff. Like, but we straight away went one guy to record, one guy to do art.
yeah.
Like we'll chip in with the social media sort of stuff. But
One or two guys for the podcast.
Yeah.
It's all coming into place now.
They're very most essential.
So thank you very much for coming on, guys.
You're very welcome.
To our viewers, listeners, please drop us a follow. We are at Off the Stage UK if you haven't already. At Off the Stage 2 on Twitter. Drop us a like, a comment on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, etc. I'm just going to quickly plug. I've got on the 17th of August. I'm headlining at Mosaic Tap, which has just been confirmed about 10 minutes ago. So apologies if you heard typing in the background.
Was that the one I was cut from?
Yeah, that's the one I didn't want you in anymore. You was with support from Scott Kears and Ethan Moore. He replaced you, James. Oh.
Sinking like the ceiling.
Didn't want to play anyway.
You know what? To be fair, I had James supporters in Sunderland, and he outshone us, so I just can't have him anymore. But that gig's a free entry. Turn up. It's the reason I'm doing the gig is I released an EP 4 years ago on the 17th of August,
Right.
and it was called 4 Years Later. And 4 years later, I'm like, I've got to do another
It's called
gig.
4 years after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, after release, called 8 years later now. Thank you very much, guys. Final question we've got for you. What is the song you're going to play for us?
Need Your Love.
So it's an impromptu acoustic version of what will be our third single.
Any idea when
A couple of
that's
months
gonna
down. It'll be about 2 months or so after our second one,
Cool.
which should be out by the time this comes out.
Keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you very much for coming down, guys. Any final questions before we go? Do you know how to fix ceilings?
No, I've got a guy. It's fine.
Not
Oh, I got a guy.
You know what? I could search through the yellow pages for like a guy that fixes ceiling for you.
I've got yellow pages in ages.
I'd done a plumbing apprenticeship when I was 16, and I accidentally put my foot through the ceiling. Like, you step on the beams in the loft, and I put my foot through.
Oh, right.
His foot was hanging through. You don't want me involved.
Okay, no, that's yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep you away from that. Cool. Thank you for coming down, guys. Drop these guys a follow if you're watching and listening. And if you're not, you probably didn't get that message. And we'll see you for the final song.
Yep. See you later.
Down. Swish.
True story.
back to earth and carry me away. Fighting on these words that I couldn't say. Take me back to earth and carry me away. Fighting on these words that I couldn't say. I need your love, need it. Need your love, need it. Need your love, need it. Need your love, need your love. I have found a place to call my own. Don't need no one to tell me I'm alone. 'Cause I caught you sleeping, break this heartbeat. Do not need your decision, I'm not your repeat. Take me back to earth and carry me away. Fighting on these words that I couldn't say. Take me back to earth and carry me away. Fighting on these words that I couldn't say. Need your love, need it. Need your love, need it. Need your love, need it. Need your love, I need your love. Need your love, need it. Need your love, need it. Need your love, need it. Need your love, need your love.
Hi, I'm Ollie Myers, and you've been listening to Off the Stage podcast. Make sure you tune in next time.